Hey everybody, how are you this afternoon? I hope you guys can see and hear me. Please pop in as you're watching, as we have people coming in, and let me know that you can both see and hear me. I am trying to be a little quiet right now. My little one just went down for a nap, and hopefully he will sleep soundly and wake happy. All you mamas know exactly what I'm talking about. I am Jennifer Kenway, and I have been invited here today to share with you one of my favorite teachings to share, which is the empowerment of women through the principles of transformation. And I am so excited to be with you today to do that. It's an honor to be here in the guest expert seat, and I hope to bring you a lot of value with this content today. I hope that you really enjoy it, and as you're coming in and joining us this afternoon, please pop in and give me any questions that you may have. I'll try to answer as many as I can get to in our time here together today. Again, I am Jennifer Kenway. I am a transformational coach and inspirational speaker. And what I love to do the most is to take people whose lives are not what they really want them to be, and I help them get there through transforming their life step by step using tools and techniques that actually make that transformation stick, that actually make that transformation root into their lives and not just be something that's here today and gone tomorrow. That transformation is there in a permanent way. I love seeing that. I am blessed and honored to be able to just be a part of that transformational process in the lives of others. It is such a calling for me that I don't really even think of it as work. I think of it as something that is joyfully given and hopefully just as joyfully received. So again, today we're going to be talking about empowering women with the principles of transformation. And what exactly does that mean? Well, to me, that means that all of us out there today as women face so much in terms of negativity. And that negativity pretty much clouds and colors everything that we do and say. You can't make a turn as a woman without being, confronted with something that's coming down on you as being a negative thing in your life. Maybe you don't wear heels because you don't like them. They're not your thing, and heels are the in thing. So you feel judged because you're not being girly enough, you're not wearing heels. Maybe you like to wear, lipstick and get your hair done and everything else, and you've got other women friends who are not quite that into it, and you feel judged because maybe you're not quite as into sports as they are. It could be something as simple as the kind of music you like, the kind of hairstyle you have, the kind of, things that you enjoy to eat. There are self-judgments that we place upon ourselves as women that really push us down and cloud everything that we do. And the problem with that is that you can't live a very transformative lifestyle, and you certainly can't live a life that you consider to be one that is successful, overly successful, if I could put it that way, more successful than the norm, if your life is clouded by these heavy, heavy, heavy weights of self-doubt and guilt and all of those things that are put upon us by both the outside and both by our inner dialogue as well. If you're popping in, wave at me in the comments and tell me that you can hear me and see me okay, and that you are joining us here. Let me know if you have any questions as we go along again. I want to share with you the principles of transformation for certain areas of your life. And then we're going to talk about how, as women specifically, we deal with these issues in a certain way. I am big into brain science. And the reason that I'm big into brain science is because I know that the male brain and the female brain work differently in key areas. I would encourage you to take a look at the work of Dr. Carolyn Leaf. She is a phenomenal brain scientist. She's from South Africa, And she has done some amazing and groundbreaking work on the differences between the way the male brain and the female brain both function and react to things. And it's absolutely astounding how we as women kind of blame ourselves for things when in reality, a lot of what we cast blame upon ourselves for is actually the way our brains are hardwired to deal with things. And there are reasons that they're hardwired to deal with things in a certain manner. The better you understand yourself and the better you understand your brain and the way it works, then the more likely you are to be able to work with yourself than against yourself. And then your life will begin to transform in those key areas. What are the key areas that women typically deal with in terms of negativity and areas where they would need transformation or desire transformation? I have my go-to list here so I don't kind of miss anything that are the common ones. You often engage as a woman in negative self-talk. And I'm saying you because you probably do. If you don't, that's fabulous. But most of these are issues that most women are going to deal with on a regular basis. You often engage in negative self-talk. You may not be the best at self-care. There may be a lack of self-care, probably because you have the mentality that other people have to come before you, and so your needs go to the back of the line. So negative, a negative balance there. You know, you have you're in the red when it comes to your self-care. You may have a negative body image. I think this is probably the one that is the most commonly discussed, but there are lots of others as well. The negative body image certainly is a big one. You may have negative financial talk that comes out of your mouth. You may not see the financial area of your life in a very positive way. And so you're always saying, oh, I can't afford that. I'm never going to be able to get those things. Oh, you know, my bank account, it's always the one in the red. Or we never get to go on vacation. Or I'm never going to get my hair done at a real salon. You know, whatever it might be, that negative financial talk hides. It hides in our lives as women. We may not literally say to ourselves, I am poor and will always be that way. But the way that we speak about other things in our life in regard to that negative self-talk actually, you know, ingrains within us these deep-rooted concepts that form a paradigm. And the paradigm are the rules by which you're going to live according to a certain area, okay? And you've got to have a paradigm shift, a total paradigm shift, in order to start living in a new and transformed way. If you are commonly engaging in negative self-talk when it comes to the finances in your life, then chances are you're not seeing a lot of good results in getting those finances in a better state. Because somewhere in the back of your mind has written this program that says, we're always going to be this way, so why come up with brilliant ideas or creative ways to get us out? You're telling yourself every day with that negative self-talk that really you're okay with where you are, because that's where your focus lies. Where your focus is where you're going to go. If you're focused totally on that negativity of not having enough, of having lack, then the energy of that is what you're going to get. If, however, you focus on that positive state of, I can have a life of abundance, you're going to be amazed at how your brain works with you to come up with amazing and creative ideas to get you there. This is not hocus pocus. This is not craziness. This is not just saying, I feel like I'm going to get there and I'm just going to sit back and let it all happen. No, there is work that you must do. But the first bit of that work is getting your mind in the right place. If you ever watch an athlete, especially Olympic athletes, they will talk in their interviews about how key it is to visualize the goal at hand, to see themselves on the podium with the medal in their hand. You know they're all going for gold and only one is going to get it. And the most important thing for them is not only how many hours they've practiced and eating the right things and keeping their body healthy. Obviously, those things are key. But without that mental aspect and that visualization process, Most of them say they would never have become Olympians anyway. The mind is the first step to getting where you want to be and to transforming your life. So in that aspect of our lives where we're talking about this negativity, we often also put on ourselves what I call inappropriate guilt. This can be the simplest kind of guilt. Maybe your sister or your mother is going through a rough time and you guilt yourself saying, I wish I could do more for them. Maybe if I had known this, then that wouldn't have happened. There are so many things in life that cannot be put on your shoulders. But as women, how often do we put those things there anyway? You can't carry the world. You're not Atlas. You're not meant to. And what you can do is what you can do. I'll say that again. What you can do is what you can do. Not what somebody else can do, but what you can do. If it isn't something that you can actively have a hand in changing, altering in some way, then don't put the guilt on your own shoulders of saying, I wish I could do something about that. That isn't helpful. In fact, it's harmful, because in doing so, all that you're doing is pulling down your ability to be of service to them. How can you be of service to someone when you are so pulled down in guilt, in self-guilt, that you can't think of creative ways to help them, to cheer them up? All these other ways that you can do things don't come to your mind when your mind is in a depressed or anxious or very sad or troubled or guilty state. Don't put the guilt on yourself, even for things that you did do sometimes that don't matter. For instance, you're on a diet. You're trying to get healthy. You're trying to change your relationship with food in a positive way. I've been in my own wellness journey now for quite some time, and I'm really getting into a good place with that. But in the beginning, I remember quite a few months ago, I was feeding my son, and he had a couple of little crackers, just like Ritz crackers or something as a snack with some fruit and some cheese. And I wasn't doing any carbs at the time. And the funny thing is, I'm giving him his cheese and his fruit and his crackers, and absentmindedly, not even thinking, I pick up a cracker and I put it in my mouth, and I don't even realize I've done it until I start tasting the cracker in my mouth, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not supposed to be eating that. And immediately that guilt starts to set in. See, you can't do this whole take away the carb thing. You can't do this whole get a better, a better outlook on your food relationship thing. Your wellness journey has just been totally derailed. And then I started to laugh at myself. One cracker is not going to derail me, because nobody's going to stop me but me. And I was able to immediately get my mindset back on track and take that guilt and throw it out the window, because it was inappropriate, shouldn't be there. It's just your mind going in the place that you typically go. If you put guilt on yourself a lot, this is going to be an area where you really need to focus to see that transformation start really snowballing and dominoing into so many areas of your life. And you're going to see a lot of transformation in a quick amount of time if you can do that. Mindset is so key. Another area that we have to deal with as women a lot is in our relationship paradigm. If you have a relationship with an individual and you find that to be a very stressful or strained relationship on a regular basis, a lot of times, again, as women, we try to fix it on our own, or we put the guilt of that whole relationship on our own shoulders, or we get really negative in some fashion. And that is not going to become a transformed relationship until we can take a step back and start addressing it from a more positive outlook. I think a lot of times people think that positivity, hi, I'm so glad you're with me, yay. I think a lot of people think that positivity is just some sort of hooey thing that, that's a bunch of woo-woo stuff, and positivity is not going to get you anywhere. Positivity is not going to pay your bills. Let me tell you, yes, it will. Sitting there today and saying, I am going to be positive today, you're not going to look at your bank account afterwards and see $100,000 suddenly there like that. But you know what you will see? You will see your bank account increase and increase and increase as you begin to deliberately change your mindset. And as you change your mindset, you free your mind to come up with the ideas that's going to be that $1 million idea that's buried inside you. If you are stuck in a rut of negativity and you are depressed and you're anxious and you're down all the time, your mind can't get into that high level theta wave creative state that is going to allow you to get that access to the portions of your brain which are so creative, so amazing. Your God-given gifts are residing there, and you can't get there because you're so down all the time. If you're so down all the time, yeah, your bank account's going to look like crap. Let's just be honest and tell it like it is. You know why? Because you're not getting to where you can actually be the answer to that bank account. We want other people to be our answer. And the truth of the matter is, God has given you the capabilities, I believe, to be the answer to that problem. We pray all the time, give me the answer, give me the answer, give me the answer. But you know what? It's already there. I love that story, right? There's a guy and there's a flood that's come, and the river's kind of overrun its banks, and his neighborhood is being flooded, right? So he's a faith-filled guy, and he tells this person as the rivers start to rise and the water comes into his neighborhood and his yard is getting flooded. I'll be all right. Don't worry. God's going to take care of me. And everybody's like, we need to get out of here. No, God's going to take care of me. Well, sure enough, the water keeps rising. Now it's a couple feet deep. And somebody comes by in a little boat and says, dude, come on, get in, okay? No, it's all right. God's going to take care of me. I'll be fine. A little while later, the water's all the way up past his front door, and a bigger boat comes by. Hey, man, come on, get in with us. Get in with us now. No, it's all right. God's going to take care of me. It's all right. And before you know it, the water has totally risen above his house. He's sitting on his roof, and an emergency helicopter comes flying overhead, throws down a ladder, and says, get on now, you're going to drown. That's all right. God's going to take care of me. You know what happens? He drowns. And then he gets up to heaven, and he's like, God, I told everybody you were going to take care of me. Why didn't you take care of me? Come on now. You're supposed to do what you say you're going to do. And God says, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. Okay? You have within you, residing within you, unbelievable capabilities that have already been placed there. You're laughing. You know that's true. You know it's true. That's how we do things, all right? We're looking for these answers to come in like it's going to fly in on the angel's wings, and it's not going to happen because it's already there within you. You've already got those answers. And if you've got that negative self-talk and you've got that negative self-image and you are stuck in a paradigm of negativity and doubt and guilt, your brain can't access what it's already got in it. You don't know how many $1 million ideas you've got up there, and you can't get to them because you're stuck in the negative paradigms. And that's where your transformation must begin. It must begin there. Okay? Once you get a hold of this concept, you can apply it and have a quantum leap time and time and time again. You know what a chrysalis is, right? The chrysalis is that thing that the caterpillar is in the process of becoming the butterfly. The chrysalis is that transformational state that the caterpillar has to go to transform into what it's supposed to be and get its wings. That's the chrysalis, and that's where you are. And I tell my private students, it's a chrysalis kind of life, because you're always going to be in a transformative state in some area of your life. There will not be a day where you wake up and you go, I have arrived. I am totally transformed. I don't have to transform anymore. I'm done. Not going to happen. And that's a good thing, because version U 2.0, 3.0, 7.0, 12.0, they need to keep coming out. The new version of you still needs to be rolling off the line because you need to be growing. If there's not a new version of you on its way out, then you're becoming stagnant, and you're not going to grow, and you're not going to progress, and you're not going to reach that next highest level. There is no highest level that you're going to reach where you're ever going to say, I have hit the top. That's not true. There is no top. It's kind of like, in the Matrix, there is no spoon. I'm telling you, there is no spoon. All right? There is no spoon. You can go as far as you want to go, but you're going to have to kick the negative thought paradigms to the curb. And the way you start doing that is by realizing where your stinking thinking is. I know you guys have heard that phrase before, right? But if you don't know what you're thinking about, you can't start to correct the problem. So with women especially, we have so many thoughts running through our heads all the time, right? You have thoughts running through your head. You don't even know how many thoughts are there. Okay, and if you don't know how many thoughts are there and where those thoughts are going in terms of the thought train and how it's progressing, you don't know where the negativity comes in, and therefore you don't know how to address it. You can't fix a problem you don't know exists, okay? So first thing you need to do is keep a thought diary. Now, I don't mean literally sit there and write down every thought you have that comes across your head. You never do anything but write and think. And we know women that we have a lot more to do than just sit down writing in a thought journal all day long, all right? Not going to happen. So what you do is you get down at the end of your day and you think back to yourself, what happened to me today that was great, that was positive? How did I feel at that moment? What was I thinking? Write it down. Just a few little lines. How did I feel today when that negative thing happened? What was I thinking? Write it down. And what you're going to find is that commonalities will start to pop out. Do this and don't pay any attention to it in terms of trying to analyze it for at least 1 week. At least 1 week. And at the end of the week, you go back and you look through and you see where your thoughts are beginning to show you a pattern. And once you understand, okay, my negative self-thinking or, self-talk, my personal putting more guilt on myself, it shows up more in areas of my relationship talk. I tell myself I'm never going to find the person I'm supposed to be with. I tell myself that it's never going to work out for me. It hasn't in the past. I tell myself that my family relationships have never worked out for them, so it's probably not going to work out for me. You have to look at your patterns so you can begin to make a plan. And once you can plan, you can shift the paradigm. Find the pattern, make the plan, shift the paradigm. I'm going to say it again. Find the pattern, make the plan, shift the paradigm. That's how you begin to transform your life. Can you say it with me? Find the pattern, make the plan, shift the paradigm. All right? So get yourself a little notebook. I mean, come on. I am a notebook junkie. I have a lot of these, and I just keep buying them because I know I'm going to fill them all up one day, right? Some of them are too pretty. It takes me a while to really start writing in the pretty ones. I know that's kind of funny, but I love those things because you can write down at the end of the day, and then you get to the end of your week and you look back and you say, there's a pattern. Now I've got to make a plan to actually shift that pattern and change that paradigm. How do you do that? Okay, so let's say your negative self-talk, we were just talking about, your relationships have been crappy. They've really, really been crappy. You haven't found that person that you want to find. Or maybe you're in a relationship right now and it's not working too well and you really, really want it to, okay? You can't fix it on your own. But what you can do is fix your thought paradigm, and you teach people how to treat you. Did you know that? You teach people how to treat you by how you act about you. You treat yourself well, you teach them that you have to treat me well. So you're going to shift your thought paradigm here by saying, you know what? I am worthy of that relationship. I am worthy of that best, most amazing relationship that I could ever possibly think of. I don't care how much you weigh. I don't care what your background is. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm telling you that right now, as you are, you're worthy of it. And you got to tell yourself that. You got to start to really change that thinking in yourself. And you've got to say to yourself, I am going to have that kind of relationship. I don't care what your parents had. I don't care how many divorces or failed relationships are in your family background. That doesn't have to be you. Break that chain now. Change the paradigm. You've found the pattern. Now you're going to make the plan and you're going to shift that paradigm. okay? There's a lot that really goes into that. We don't have time today together to work on all the details of how you actually go through and do that. But I'm giving you some really key things here right now to actually help you begin to make this a process in your life that you can play and press repeat on every time, okay? So you can do it with relationships, you can do it with finances, you can do it with your health and your wellness, whether that means you want to lose weight, you want to get healthier in some way, you've got something going on, maybe your body is kind of where you want it to be, but you know, your hair isn't. I mean, I have a girlfriend of mine that's had such stress in her life, her hair is falling out. Come on now, ladies. We can do better for ourselves than that. And, you know, I have to admit here, I'm preaching to the choir in terms of myself. I know that one area of my own life that is still in the chrysalis of transformation is self-care. I have a husband, I have a son, I have a family, my mom's gone through a lot, other family members have gone through a lot. How many times do we put ourselves at the bottom of the totem pole, at the back of the line, and say, I'll get to me later? Not acceptable. Not acceptable, because if you aren't at the highest best that you can be, how can you be of service to them? That's what we want to do, women. We want to serve. The wise woman in you wants to serve. She wants to use the gifts that she has, and she wants to serve. But you can't serve if you're flat on your back, because you're out of it. You are so exhausted. You are so, you're sick and tired. You're literally sick and tired of being sick and tired. Don't put yourself at the back of the line. As much as you possibly can, and I know this takes work to get it there. Believe me, again, I'm in the chrysalis here in my own life. You've got to get yourself into a planned action day, okay? So in the morning, you get up. First thing you do, if this is what you like to do, maybe you're a person that likes to do some morning stretches, go for a walk, do a little yoga, whatever you want to do. Give yourself that morning time and don't let anybody mess with it. Okay, fine, you've got children. I get that. Work it in. You've got a husband. I get that. Work it in. You can. I had a friend of mine a long time ago in college, this was, oh Lord, a couple of decades ago now, tell me, we make time for what we want to make time for. Write that down on a sticky note, stick it on your mirror. I will make time for what I want to make time for. You will find those little bits of time in your day, and you will start getting better at self-care. You will start getting better at paying better attention to you. And as you do that, maybe that's the place in your life that needs transformation right now before anything else can transform. As you do that, you will begin to see other areas start to transform, because you're going to have a domino effect and it's going to snowball. Once you get a hold of these concepts, I know, I get excited. I talk fast. I might even get a little preachy if I admit it. But the truth is the truth, and I've got to speak the truth. Wise women, wake up and understand that you've got the capabilities. You can transform your world. In fact, that's what you were born to do. You were born to transform your world. And that begins with the world immediately around you. That begins with the world that you experience on a daily basis. And from there, it goes out like ripples into next level, higher and higher, until finally, maybe you're the lady that's standing in front of the UN giving an address. Maybe you're the lady that started a nonprofit that's touching the lives of hundreds of thousands around the world. Maybe you're the lady that's found a cure for some disease. Maybe you're the lady that's figured out how to help kids in a certain area or to help busy moms in a certain area. But none of that's going to happen if you can't start by transforming your personal world, the world that you experience on a day-to-day basis. Now, I want you to think about those three things that I told you, okay? You're going to find a pattern. You're going to make a plan, and you're going to shift that paradigm, change that paradigm. That applies to anything you want to change in your life. And remember that how you're going to do it is you're going to get yourself a little thought diary. And at the end of the day, just look back at your day. And then once a week, don't do it every day. Don't try to analyze every day. It gets far too tedious, far too bogging your brain down, and you will stop. Don't try to do this every day. This is a once a week, go back through it exercise. You go back through, you look for your pattern, you make yourself a plan, and you progress towards shifting that paradigm. And before I let you guys go today, I know it's been a lot to take in, okay? And I want you to go back and watch the replay if you only popped in just a short amount of time ago. It's the middle of the afternoon. You may have been on your lunch break, a break from work, a break from your kids, hiding in the bathroom, trying to watch Facebook Live. Okay, guys, I'll be out in a minute. Yeah, I know how you do. I do it too. Believe me, okay? So I'm going to let you go here in just a second. But before I do that, I want to tell you that you are amazing. How can I say that without knowing you? Well, it's because I know you, okay? Cynthia says she's going to use your pretty notebook for this. There you go. Go, girl. Use the pretty one. I have several pretty ones that I'm just like, I just can't use the pretty ones yet, you know? They're just so pretty. But you know how it goes, right? I will eventually use the pretty ones. This is deserving of the pretty one. You are absolutely right. Go do it. You are incredible, and the world needs what you've got inside you. That's why I do what I do. Because I believe that this world is supposed to be so much better than it is. And there are so many wise women out there who are not giving what they've got in them that they are meant to give. And primarily it's because they don't know how, okay? They just don't know how. So I'm here to get you from I don't know how to world stage, okay? That's where you're supposed to be, because you've got that inside you that's supposed to be out there helping somebody else. Okay? You may not ever be the president of the United States, although one of you might be one day. Hey, let me know. Let me know. I'll go to the polls and vote for you, okay? Or hey, vote for me. I don't know. Who knows? Point being, your platform is your platform. If you're on the platform at the White House, if you're on the platform at the UN, if you're on the platform in your local school district, being that mom who leads everybody to get your school district to do something better for your kids, that is a gift that you've got within you. And let me tell you, wise woman, you've got the capabilities. It's time to step up. It's time to find the patterns, get the plans and actions, and shift your paradigms so that those amazing capabilities and ideas that are buried deep within you can come out, flourish, and change your world, because that's what you're meant to do. Again, I'm Jennifer Kenway. I am a transformational coach and inspirational speaker, and I am here for you. I'm going to pop back in throughout the day in the comments, and let's keep the dialogue going, okay? If you've got questions, if you've got things you want to share, please do. I will be in and out all the rest of the day to keep this going with you. I also have a 21-day intensive coming up starting on the 1st of September, and you are all absolutely invited to come join. I can share more details of that later if you would like to know. And I just want to shout out a big shout of love and blessing to all of you. I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day, and I hope that this has given you some really good kernels of wisdom that you can take forward with you and apply in your life. All right, guys? I will see you again soon. Much love to all of you. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.